Mr. President, there is currently a request to refer item 19 to the Housing and Homeless Committee.
All right. Without objection, that'll be the order. All right, Councilmember Rahman.
I wanted to rise and I did want to object to referring this motion to committee today. And I just wanted to share with you, colleagues, why I think this is important, why it's urgent to do it today, and to explain why this came to us at the very last moment. And I hope that you'll indulge me. Measure ULA is one of the most consequential housing policies Los Angeles voters have ever approved. Nearly 60% of Angelenos said yes to a tax on real estate sales over $5 million that would go towards building affordable housing and to preventing evictions, displacement, and homelessness, creating for the first time a perpetual and, to me, essential resource for the city of Los Angeles. I want to be very clear about what I wanted to send to the June ballot: a one-time exemption on the tax for victims of the Palisades fires, to me an inarguably good thing that this body must do, technical fixes to help get these dollars out the door vetted by the Housing Department, and an exemption to the tax for the first 15 years after any multifamily or commercial building comes online, which, based on the data that we have about transactions so far, would take away between 9 to 13% of the funds. I believe that we should move forward today with putting these changes on the June ballot, and here's why. I endorsed and supported Measure ULA, and since going into effect, it's raised more than $1 billion and helped stabilize thousands of tenants while supporting the construction of 200 homes so far, and hopefully many more this year as the bulk of the production money finally goes out the door. Those outcomes matter, and they show us why this funding source is so important to preserve for our city. But there are real threats to ULA, from statewide ballot initiatives that threaten to take away transfer taxes entirely across California, from planned legislative action in Sacramento, and from local ballot initiatives, all of which are likely to make far deeper cuts to ULA's revenues. I strongly believe that acting locally and acting responsibly is how we protect this voter-approved policies. We can head off donors and supporters and promoters of other efforts if we do it the right way and if we do it locally. But I want to be clear that my efforts today are not just a defensive measure. This is also an effort to address what I believe are unintended consequences of the design of Measure ULA, which was sold to voters as a mansion tax. In reality, it put a transfer tax on all properties over $5 million, including apartments. And we have to be honest about what has happened as a result. Multifamily, mixed-use housing, commercial production has slowed in the city of LA. Lenders and investors are backing away from this city entirely. Multiple research studies and data points have shown us that the structure of this tax has slowed apartment construction in LA during a housing crisis. These studies have compared sales and permits in the city of LA with comparable jurisdictions in LA County and found steeper declines in LA City. The studies estimated that ULA is preventing the construction of at least 2,000 market rate units a year, as well as hundreds of affordable units, more units than ULA can produce. The LA Times recently reported that the San Diego region is building apartments at nearly twice the rate of LA, with new construction up 10% in this economic climate, while LA's has plummeted by 33% over the last 3 years. These studies have also shown that it has cut into property turnover in our most expensive properties, which, thanks to Prop 13, cuts into our local property tax base, which means that if we keep the tax in this way, we actually lose funding for basic services over time, including for public safety and street lights, everything. And I know there are claims of competing studies, but I have actually read every single one of these studies, and I'm not an economist, but I find the case that ULA is reducing multifamily housing production to be very convincing. And that makes me worried as a policymaker who is legislating for all Angelenos. Our city's own data, and I'm almost done, I'm sorry. Our city's own data shows that permits have fallen significantly since the tax, a 27% drop. More alarmingly, that data shows that that drop has been concentrated in buildings with more than 5 units. Why is that alarming? Because larger buildings are where we have placed all of our hopes for meeting our local housing shortage. We did that through the CHIP program. But the structure of ULA now disincentivizes investment in exactly the kind of buildings that we are saying are going to help us meet our housing shortage. We are sabotaging ourselves. A policy that unintentionally stalls housing production undermines the very goal that voters asked us to achieve. The parallel would be if we were trying to address hunger and you did it through a program that increased food shortages. You can't address the housing crisis with a policy that worsens our housing shortage. You just can't. Voters were sold a mansion tax and ignoring the very real impacts on apartment construction, apartments that people want and need and want to move into, doesn't protect Measure ULA. It weakens it. Fixing unintended consequences is how we keep this policy aligned with what voters expected and what the city needs. And I also finally want to address the process. I know that a lot of people want to send this back to committee because this conversation should have been something that you were all involved in a lot earlier, or that you were blindsided by my motion on Friday. And I am genuinely sorry about surprising trusted partners in this way. But I have had months of conversations with key stakeholders, including housing organizations and nonprofits who are leaders in the ULA coalition, with our labor partners, with our business partners. Many of you are in the audience today. You were part of these conversations, and many of you were actually involved in more conversations than I was. But after many months, we weren't even able to agree on what data was important to monitor, or that people cared about the implications for Angelenos on what the data was showing us about the slowdown in construction. And given the short timeline ahead of us for action, I made the decision to bring this conversation out of the back room and into the public sphere. Because I care. I care deeply about the implications of slowing housing production. And I think Angelenos care. I care that rents in Los Angeles have gone up significantly since 2020, while rents in cities that have built more in that period have dropped. I care that another UCLA study last year found that LA is the most unaffordable rental market in the nation. In the nation. I care that LA had one of the largest drops in the share of children among our overall population as families have been driven away from this city, not brought into it, driven away by our policies. I care that renters living in older buildings with bad landlords have no choice but to suffer because there is no other housing available. Colleagues, I understand that many of you may feel differently, but this is why I think it is important to take action today and to send these reform proposals to the ballot in June. Thank you.
All right. All right, Madam Clerk, the chair has requested that this item go to committee for consideration. There's an objection to that order. We need to call a vote at this time.
Yes. So the motion to refer this to the Housing and Homeless Committee, is there a second to that motion?
To send it to committee.
To send this to committee. Okay, so then at this time, the motion to send item 19 to the Housing and Homeless Committee is before council for a vote. Send it to Housing and Homeless Committee or not?
All right, let's open. All right, we got people who want to speak on this. Clerk and City Attorney, I want to just make sure we're in order here and that we can have a full discussion over this beyond the objection.
Well, then, in this case, then, if the rest of the members would like to discuss this further, this item 19 at this time, then the vote to send this to Housing and Homeless Committee should wait until the council votes on the rest of the items on this agenda.
Before or after public comment?
This would happen after public comment because this motion has not been referred to committee, and it was just introduced recently.
So what we have on our agenda is a Rule 16. A Rule 16 gets placed on the agenda without the committee process, of course. And when the call was made for approving this agenda, I pressed my button. I would have made an objection to the Rule 16. That is a motion, that is an objection that is not debatable. And the vote would on my objection would be, or anyone's objection, would be immediate without debate. And to consider the Rule 16 requires 10 votes. To consider the Rule 16 requires 10 votes, not debatable. If there are not 10 votes to consider the Rule 16, the matter is, by rule, referred to committee. By rule, it's referred to committee. And so I want to be really, really clear here. The president of the council at the outset of the meeting said, I no longer have a Rule 16 in front of you. I'm going to refer this to committee. The objection was the referral to committee. That is a simple majority objection. But if we don't send it to committee, the motion's dead. It's gone. It doesn't exist. It's not considered today without 10 votes. And if it's not sent to committee, it's not sent to committee and it's dead. It's essentially tabled. And so let's be really clear what we're talking about here. If you want to hear it today, and I don't, because it needs a public debate in committee, it requires 10 votes. The chair can send it to committee without objection. If there's an objection, 8 votes can approve what he's doing, or 8 votes can disapprove what he's doing. If we disapprove sending it to committee, it's gone. So let's be really clear what we're talking about here. We're no longer talking about whether it's going to be heard today. It will not be heard today because there is no Rule 16 on the floor. The only question we have is, does it go to committee or does it go into the ether? I say send it to committee.
I say the same thing. Councilmember Rahman?
I'm not sure how to interpret what you said in terms of the rules. If you would, I mean, it sounds like people want to send this to committee, so I'm happy to withdraw my objection to sending it to committee and allow it to be sent to committee if that's the only way to keep this alive today. And I'm happy to do that. Thank you.
Madam Clerk? Madam Clerk, just tell us where we are, and then I'll call on Councilmember Rodriguez.
The objection to sending item 19 to committee has been withdrawn, so this item is now sent to the Housing and Homeless Committee.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McCosker, for clarifying procedurally, because I hit my button too to object to call on whether or not we were going to hear this item. But I also didn't appreciate the false narrative and monologue that was given on this item, particularly when it was conflicted in acknowledging that, Ms. Rahman, you supported and endorsed the false notion to voters that this was going to be the panacea without study, without any of the verified proof. We knew that these were the implications for many of us when we were having these conversations around ULA. And we've been calling it out for well over a year, but it was convenient to ignore it when the money was being doled out to different initiatives that people wanted to support. And then these backroom, learn about the backroom conversations that were happening. The idea that you would all of a sudden jam this in and out of genuine concern when we've been calling this out for more than a year. I wish you had the same sense of urgency to schedule my motion that has been sitting in your committee for 280 days on the discussion of homeless spending and the centralization of the work and the removal of LASA. It's been sitting 280 days, a report in your committee that you won't hear. So let's stop playing this false notion of the arsonists showing up as the firefighters. I want to make sure that the public gets the actual conversations that they deserve. There's multiple stakeholders here that are being affected, whether it's the lack of housing construction, whether it's the individuals that are at risk of losing support from the resources that could be garnered from this, or the obstruction of housing creation. There is a whole host of problems here. But the public deserves to have an open and transparent conversation around this. So I'm not going to sign on to these false efforts. We have a committee process. Let's have these conversations in committee. But let's stop playing these games, guys. How many times do people have to get dragged out of work or whatever they're doing to come participate in this false show? Enough. So I look forward to this going to committee and having a robust conversation about how we can, and I see all the folks in labor there, how we can measure twice and cut once. Because we do have to fix ULA, and we have to do it right and make sure that we do it with all the stakeholders that are going to be impacted by it to be involved. and engaged in the conversation. And I look forward to these things happening with full transparency in the committee process. Thank you.
All right.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Item 17 in general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, council members. My name is Maura O'Neill. I'm a policy analyst for Better Neighbors LA. We're a coalition focused on regulating short-term rentals to preserve long-term housing in Los Angeles and Southern California. I'd like to urge the council to remove Section 5 from the proposed reports in item 17. This item threatens to resurrect the vacation rental ordinance, which was voted down in 2023 because of the devastating impact it would have on LA's long-term residents. The vacation rental ordinance would undo the home sharing ordinance's foundations and impede the city's enforcement of current short-term rental laws, a task the council has been working on for years. The enormous increase in short-term rentals under the vacation rental ordinance, roughly 31,000, would effectively reverse the primary residency requirement provision of the HSO and prioritize the profit of corporate short-term rental operators over tenants. Not only do short-term rentals decrease housing supply, but they have also been shown to increase rents. Passing the ordinance will affect not
General
only...
public comment?
Thank you. Passing the ordinance will affect not only housing affordability for residents, but also the scale of housing-related social services that the city will need to provide. We urge the council to remove Section 5 from the proposed reports in item 17 and focus on long-term housing solutions for LA's residents. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
General public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute.
Thank you. My name is Amy Linda Nevares, and I'm here with SAGE. I'm here to ask the council to vote against any amendments to ULA. From the beginning, the real estate lobby has been determined to sabotage ULA by identifying loopholes, filing lawsuits, and introducing bad faith legislation to repeal it. They spent millions fighting it at the ballot, failed, and launched a lawsuit that also failed. Why would you all believe anything that they say? Developers don't like paying the tax, and they're using every excuse in the book to get rid of it. Blaming ULA for a slowdown in housing production is ridiculous. What about high interest rates, inflation, insurance, and all other factors that contribute to the real estate market? The amendments that were proposed would reduce who pays into ULA and delay when revenue is collected. This will make it more difficult to solve our affordability housing crisis. It's imperative you stay the course and give a chance to let ULA work. And that means not losing our nerve every time LA's real estate industry invents a new story about how the sky is falling. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good morning, Council. On behalf of United Teachers Los Angeles, we ask the Council to reject any amendments to ULA. Billionaires and corporate developers are coming hard after this program precisely because it is working, because it is showing that you could spend public dollars to build a city that working people can afford. UTLA has been proud to support Measure ULA from the start and stand in solidarity with the thousands of tenants, workers, housing justice organizations, and community groups who have championed this vital funding source for affordable housing, and we have no plans on stopping. We are doubling down on our support for this program. The 38,000 members of UTLA joined thousands of others in asking you to protect ULA. The high cost of housing is driving our educators out of the profession. It is driving our students into homelessness or out of the city. We ask you to protect this vital program for affordable housing and homelessness prevention, because are we a city for billionaires and for luxury housing, or are we going to build affordable housing for working people? We ask you to protect ULA. And on item 17, we just simply ask the City Council to remove Section 5 from item 17 and reject the vacation rental ordinance entirely. Thank you so much.
My issues is I know Hernandez and Miss Heather Hunt and Hugo Martinez. They are with the program. They're doing things. The other council people end up, it looks like you pick and choose. I don't believe in picking and choosing. I've always believed in what's people's right. There's a lot of issues in LA right now, that a lot of manners in the transgender community. I'm not coming up in here with a mustache and a beard. I've been a transgender woman for 60 years, and I'm going to stand what is right. I believe in human rights and what you're supposed to do. We got enough issues out there. Stop pick and choose it. Do what you're supposed to do, because all of you don't want to listen. Y'all have, a lot of people have come in here and disrespect you. I come with respect and honesty, and
General?
you didn't give me my 2 minutes, because I was going to item 14. Is it 14?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. What the police matters. The police, they get their money. They got money from the government over here from Newsom. They make too much money. They want to build jails and give them more guns. They just killed some young lady in her name was Linda. What matters, they're killing our people. Y'all giving them more money to buy more guns, and they're the ones, the situation what Donald Trump is doing with ISIS and all that. Y'all got too many issues going on right now that y'all have to make better for these people on the streets. We have a drug population. The world is, the city is getting dirty. Clean it up. Get it together, y'all, and make sure that y'all can make the right choices and stop picking and choosing. Make the right choices to help this situation in LA. Thank you very much. Miss Heather and, okay.
Good morning and good afternoon, council members. My name is Jonathan Bazil, and I live and work in District 10, and I'm here in strong support of the TGI Wellness and Equity Initiative, a $4 million investment organization serving transgender, gender expansive, and intersex Angelinos. For years, community members in the Trans Latino Coalition have urged the city to make real, sustained investments in TGI lives, especially as federal funding for DEI-related services continues to decline. TGI people have long faced discrimination, criminalization, and now increasing attacks on access to gender-affirming care and basic freedoms. This makes local action more urgent than ever. Across all levels of government, TGI people experience disproportionate homelessness, violence, and barriers to essential services. Funding TGI-led and TGI-serving organizations is a concrete step towards equity and aligns with the city's commitment to a more inclusive Los Angeles. We uplift city leaders who understand that equity, racial justice, and TGI rights are interconnected.
General public comment.
Okay. Hi, my name's Marian Toma. I'm an organizer with Unite Here Local 11. Los Angeles has already acknowledged the damage caused by short-term rentals and approved new enforcement tools to crack down on illegal activity. Expanding short-term rentals to second homes will create new loopholes, reducing housing supply and undermine existing protections that prioritize homes for long-term residents. Please reject this harmful proposal and remove recommendation number 5. And for general comment.
Okay, you have 1 minute.
Additionally, our union collected thousands of signatures to create Measure ULA, the significant housing source. We cannot pass exemptions that undermine this policy at the 11th hour. Any changes to Measure ULA without the community should not happen. Thank you.
Como les digo, soy organizadora de inquilinos y día con día veo cómo sufren, cómo son acosados. Es por eso que estoy aquí, para decirles que protejan a ULA. Y también le quiero pedir a los concejales que cuando nuestra gente venga a hablar aquí, que le pongan atención. Porque estamos cansados de que nos den a tole con el dedo, que quieran endulzarnos con sus palabras falsas de hipocresía para decir que están con nosotros. Estamos cansados de que ganamos una medida democráticamente.
Eva, un momento para permitir la interpretación.
Gracias, perdón.
So, as I was saying, we come here each day and we're suffering and we are struggling and we're here to protest what is happening with Measure ULA. And I would also specifically like to talk to the council members because we come here, your community is here, and you're not even paying attention to us. Adelante.
Y es por eso que les digo a todos ustedes que tienen que apoyar a nuestra comunidad.
And that's why I'm telling you, you have to support the community.
Los dueños son invulnerables, tienen dinero y quieren joder a nuestros inquilinos.
Landlords are vulnerable right now, but they want to go ahead and attack the tenants.
Por eso tenemos que tener algo que proteja como ULA.
And that's why we need something like ULA to protect us.
Porque para eso la ganamos, para eso luchamos, para eso salimos a las calles a que votaran por ULA.
And that's why we won ULA, we went out to fight for it, and we went out into the streets to get people to vote for it.
Y les digo nuevamente, Dejen de estar faltando el respeto a los miembros cuando vienen a hablar aquí. Póngales atención. Y a esos concejales que dieron sus palabras dulces, son hipocresía.
And again, so I'm asking you, stop disrespecting the community. Pay attention to us when we come here to give public comment. And for those people who have whispered sweet nothings to us, we know that it's hypocritical.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Buenos días. Vengo en representación de Translatina Coalition y de la comunidad TGE.
Good morning. I'm here in representation of the Trans-Latino Coalition and to talk about TGI.
Mi nombre es Adriana Arjona y vengo en apoyo de la comunidad de mujeres transgéneros y anexas. Estoy aquí por la iniciativa de bienestar y equidad y atención de TGE.
My name is Adriana Arajona. I'm here to support trans women, and I'm also here to talk about the TGI Wellness Initiative.
Una inversión de $4 millones en organizaciones comunitarias dirigidas por y que prestan servicios a personas transgénero.
And I'm here to talk about the $4 million investment in community organizations that provide services to the trans community.
La coalición translatina y de nuestra comunidad ha solicitado a la ciudad de Los Ángeles que invierta verdad en la vida de personas transgénero.
The Trans-Latino Coalition, as well as other communities, have requested that the City of Los Angeles truly invest in this community.
Y lo único que les puedo recordar, recuerden todos que el dinero es del pueblo y para el pueblo, señores.
And the only thing that I would like to remind you all is to not forget that the money that you receive is for the people and from the people. Thank you.
Señores, mi nombre es Alejandro Méndez y vivo aquí en la ciudad de Los Ángeles. Vengo de la organización CPC.
Hi, good morning. My name is Alejandro Mendez. I am from CPC, Community Power Collective, and I am from Los Angeles.
Lo que estoy aquí es para de todas las personas que están como yo que nos falta por ejemplo, como la amputación de un pie. Es la razón que estoy aquí para todas esas personas que están allá afuera.
So I'm here, like many other people who are like me, that have, as well as the many people who are outside.
Ahorita en este momento no estoy trabajando, solamente estoy ahorita sobreviviendo lo de mi hija, que está trabajando ella, y por lo tanto es mi esperanza que ULA no la revoquen para atrás, porque si no, ¿con qué ayuda nos podemos nosotros ayudar? Sí es muy importante para todos nosotros los inquilinos.
Right now, I'm not working, and I am surviving at this time with my daughter who is working. And my only hope is that you not repeal ULA when there's so many people who are in need, as well as other tenants.
Item 14, Public Safety Committee report relative to the Supplemental Police Account Second Quarterly Report 2025. When I took a screenshot of this item early this morning, the report was attached to the agenda item, but now somehow it's no longer attached. Item 17, transient occupancy tax for those staying in hotels, motels for 30 days or less, increased by 4% until 2028 with a permanent 2% tax thereafter. Parking occupancy tax with a current rate of 10% increased by 5%. Cannabis business tax parity, rate increase not applicable, duration permanent. These are a lot of tax increases for city residents when Mayor Bass is proposing tax exemption, not only for rebuilding properties due to the 2025 fires, but now also any purchases and restoration of buildings using Measure A funds that come directly from your constituents. General public comment.
Okay, so you have
This
1 minute.
past Friday, LAPD knocked on my door to do a wellness check on my roommate. They found her unresponsive in the room next to mine. We shared a wall. When they entered her room, they unholstered their weapons. Everywhere I go, I see the ways in which lack of care and support destroy Black and brown, TGI, and queer people. In the streets, through my phone, at my place of employment, and now in my home. So much grief and unspoken pain. I don't want to see another Black queer body being taken out of my home. I don't want to call their families or set up interviews with LA Times for the slaying by LAPD of Linda Besada. Also during a wellness check, or even to discuss it here with nothing being done with urgency about it. I hate telling people how my day went and feeling like I might be trauma dumping, but no, it's just another Friday.
Speaker, your time has expired. We have to move on to the next speaker. So for everyone here, if you, speaker, thank you for coming. We have to move on to the next speaker. So for everyone here, we have to give everybody the same amount of time to speak. If for whatever reason you run out of time during your public comment period, or if we run out of time and cannot take your comment today, you can always provide additional public comment at lacouncilcomment.com. Again, that's lacouncilcomment.com. You can find that at the top of the URL at the top of every council agenda. You can also do a quick Google search, and it should be one of the first things that comes up. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning, and thank you so much for the opportunity to be here before you. My name is Bambi Salcedo, and I'm the president and CEO of the Trans-Latino Coalition. I'm here on behalf of about 50 people that are still waiting to get in here, and some of my friends and colleagues and family who are here to request and to really ask this council to move forward the TGI We need 2 people, one to submit the petition and one to be a co-sponsor, and obviously we need all of your votes to make sure that trans, gender expansive, and intersex people are able to receive support and services that we deserve. This is to support trans-led organizations that provide services to our community. As we know, right now is the time to stand in solidarity with our community and to really stand against the federal government who is attacking and trying to disappear trans people. So I ask you to please be bold and
Speaker, your time has expired.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Andrea Romero, and I'm a member of Unite Here Local 11. I urge you to oppose the vacation rentals ordinance and remove recommendation 5 from your report on revenue options for the budget. Allowing second homes to be listed as short-term rentals on platforms like Airbnb and Vrbo would allow for increased conversions of housing into hotels and directly contradict the council's recent actions to strengthen enforcement of the home sharing ordinance. The city should be cracking down on illegal short-term rentals, not expanding short-term rentals. This proposal will not solve budget challenges. Allowing vacation rentals will make enforcement of our existing laws more difficult and remove homes from our neighborhoods. That is exactly why the council previously abandoned this proposal and allowed the file to expire. Please focus on real solutions that protect residents and preserve housing. Do not move this proposal forward in any form. Thank you.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
General public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
I'm Jerry Jones with the Greater LA Coalition on Homelessness, speaking in opposition to any motion that would scale back ULA. We do not have enough funding already to deal with the housing crisis in front of us, and so this is not the time to be changing the motion. And if this ballot motion was, or excuse me, this ballot measure was changed, it would need to be in coordination with the community and labor partners who gathered 98,000 signatures and spent the shoe leather and the bare knuckles on doors and the tremendous effort to explain this proposal to the voters when it was passed overwhelmingly. And so if there are changes to be made, they need to be coordinated with those allies who created ULA in the first place. Thank you.
2 minutos, adelante.
Sí, estamos aquí porque no queremos que nos quiten fondos de la medida ULA.
We're here because we do not want funds to be removed from Measure ULA.
Nosotros hemos luchado para obtener esa medida, esa ley.
We have fought to get that law,
Y como inquilino, ¿verdad? Nos ha beneficiado mucho, no nada más a mí, a muchas personas.
as a renter, it has benefited not only me, but many other people as well.
Yo he sido un inquilino que he estado siendo acosado por el dueño, demandada 2 veces y me he tenido representación legal.
I am a renter who has been harassed by her landlord 2 times. I have sued twice, and I got adequate legal representation.
Gracias a esa medida también hemos estado orientándonos a través de las clínicas.
And thank you to that measure, we have been able to orient ourselves thanks to the clinics.
Porque yo les digo, si no tenemos representación legal cuando somos demandados, perdemos nuestros casos y nos quedamos prácticamente en la calle.
And I can say that when we do not have legal representation, we lose our cases and we are basically left out on the street.
General public comment?
Comentario general.
Pedimos que el Consejo Municipal remueve la sección número 5
We ask the council to remove section number 5
del artículo 17 que iniciaría un informe sobre la ordenanza de vivienda turística.
and we ask them that they remove it from item 17 that will initiate a reform for the tourist ordinance.
Y que el Consejo lo rechace en su totalidad.
And for the council to reject it completely.
Y le pido por favor que a los que esté anunciando los nombres, que lo haga, que no se termine la gente que está ahí parada, que lo haga continuamente porque estamos perdiendo tiempo.
And we ask to the person who is announcing the names to not wait until the people are not there anymore standing, to do it continuously as the people are lining up so that we do not lose time.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Muchos de ustedes apoyaron YULA a someter la votación y contribuyeron a que los trabajadores tuvieran la oportunidad de acceder viviendas accesibles.
Many of you have supported ULA, which has contributed to workers being able to access affordable housing.
Ahora es el momento de llevar adelante YULA y dejar que funcione.
Now is the moment to let ULA move forward and let it work.
La YULA no solo es esencial para resolver nuestras crisis de vivienda, sino que es un modelo para la nación sobre cómo financiar viviendas accesibles de forma permanente a gran escala.
And ULA is not only moved forward by the voters, it is also a model for the nation to be able to access affordable housing with adequate funds.
Ahora voy a hablar en el punto general. En cumplimiento, pido que el Consejo Municipal quite la sección 5 del artículo 17.
I am asking the council to remove section 5 from item number 17.
La ciudad de hoy en día no tiene la capacidad de hacer cumplir la ley actual sobre los alquileres a corto plazo.
The city does not have the ability to enforce the law on renters and short-term rental agreements.
Las estadísticas del gobierno municipal muestran que más del 60% de los alquileres a corto plazo son ilegales.
And statistics show that renting 60% of short-term rentals are actually illegal.
Aprobando a la ordenanza de viviendas turísticas no solo recompensaría a los operadores que rompen la ley,
And this would, approving this ordinance would recompensate the operators who are breaking the law.
debido a esto crearía un alboroto sobre la aplicación debido a la creación de 31,000 permisos nuevos sin
This
preparación
would create problems for more than
o
30,000
capacidad para administrarlos. Gracias.
with the capacity to administrate them.
Buenos dias. I'm going to speak on general public comment as well as item number 7. Before I get started, I would just appreciate everyone's attention to your constituents. Thank you.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item number 7 and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Chichi Navarro. I'm part of the Translatina Coalition as a policy intern. Los Angeles is in a state of crisis, and our communities are running out of time. Transgender, gender nonconforming, and intersex immigrants, Angelinos, are dying on our streets because we do not have the resources that we need to survive. We're lacking housing, we're lacking safety, we're lacking wellness supports, and lacking the basic infrastructure that every human being deserves. And while our community struggles to meet this most basic needs, this city continues to invest billions in enforcement instead of care. With nearly a $14 billion budget, nearly a quarter goes to LAPD, while TGI-led programs receive nothing. This is not a resource shortage. It is a resource allocation choice, and it's costing lives. We need this council to introduce the TGI Wellness and Equity Initiative immediately. TGI We is a life-saving proposal built by community experts who understand the crisis firsthand. Every day you delay, more lives are lost. We cannot wait. We need urgent investment today. For item number 7. Item number 7 will deepen a crisis that is already killing people across the city. Expanding 41.18 does not just harm TGI people. It harms Black and brown unhoused residents, disabled Angelinos, seniors, youth, immigrants, and anyone surviving without stable housing. These are the communities already dying at the highest rates, and this policy pushes them even further into danger. Every sweep destroys medication, mobility, aids, hormones, IDs, and the belongings people need to stay alive. Every forced displacement isolates people from outreach workers, from community, and from the few resources they rely on. This is not public safety, it is state-sanctioned harm. And for communities already facing disproportionate policing and violence, it is deadly. If this city is serious about saving lives, expanding 41.18 is the wrong direction. Reject item 17 and invest in real solutions, housing, services, and community-led programs that actually keep the people alive. Listen to your constituents, listen to the community. Your position in this city council is not guaranteed. And keep in mind, we are paying attention. History will remember you.
Hi, everyone. My name's Laura Raymond, and I co-chaired the Yes on ULA campaign back in 2022, together with my co-chair, April Barrett from SEIU 2015. And I also served on the ULA COC for 2 years, where I helped draft the program guidelines for our 11 programs. ULA, as you all know, the implementation of it's going to be very tough long-term work. It's going to take all of us in this room working together to get this right. And I'm very concerned with the proposal that's been brought forward in the way that I think it will damage the relationships that we need to implement ULA well. It's been a closed-door process, and it also offers no alternative ideas to replace critical revenue for our 11 ULA programs, which will prevent homelessness and provide affordable housing. I also fear that this is going to erode trust in the city at a time when we need the city to be seen as a place residents can trust with our tax dollars.
Your 1 minute for general public comment has expired. I believe you were speaking to ULA. So you have 1 minute for item 17 if you'd like. Go ahead.
Yes. And I guess the last thing I just want to know is we're not going to get another chance like ULA. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to actually address our homeless and housing crisis. It's like we were telling voters in the campaign, it's really a historic opportunity, and we all need to work together to make it a success. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and I hope we can move forward from here.
As a real estate transfer tax, I'm speaking on item 17, as well as a general public comment. My name is Alfonso Directo with the ACT LA Coalition, based on 50 organizations advancing housing and transit in LA. $387 million to build hundreds of units of affordable housing will be awarded in the coming weeks. And due to ULA, this will happen once, if not twice, every year. ULA is working, and things are just getting started. ULA is providing the solution that the city needs, not the problem that needs fixing. Apartments built by and owned by nonprofit affordable housing developers and owners are already exempt from ULA on purpose.
Expanding that exemption to include every apartment owner and builder exacerbates the homelessness and housing crisis we have. ULA went into effect with a host of complex national economic conditions, such as high interest rates and tariffs. To reduce the conditions down to ULA is counterproductive and unjust. ULA has been a part of, ACT-LA has been part of ULA since the beginning, and our polling found then, just as it's probably gone even worse, is that the mistrust in government is deeper. And in that condition, community voices and tenants are the trusted messengers on housing, not city council. So a city-backed ballot measure to amend ULA is counterproductive and unnecessary and ineffective. I urge you to reject this ballot measure and fully implement ULA as voters overwhelmingly approved. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Nick Casey, and I'm a trans, queer, non-binary voting resident of District 10, a member of the Angels of Change Leadership Academy, and I'm here speaking in support of the TGI Wellness and Equity Initiative as a board member on behalf of LA Pride, Christopher Street West. LA Pride's work has always been about visibility paired with responsibility, and that responsibility includes standing in solidarity with initiatives that materially improve the lives of the TGI community. The TGI We initiative is a community-built investment in care over criminalization and investment over erasure. LA Pride calls on the council to please place the TGI initiative on an upcoming agenda and fully fund it, affirming that Los Angeles doesn't just celebrate inclusion, we invest in it. Thank you.
Good morning. On behalf of the 800,000 union members across Los Angeles County, I rise today in opposition of any amendments to ULA. Let us remember why we're here. ULA was not written in the back room. It was written out of lived experiences by housing advocates, policy experts, and working people who see the human cost of this crisis every single day. And then it was overwhelmingly approved by the voters of this city. Construction workers voted for it. Home care workers voted for it. Teachers voted for it. Nurses, janitors, grocery workers, and the very people who keep Los Angeles working voted for it. ULA was built on one simple but powerful idea. We cannot arrest our way out of homelessness. We cannot ignore it. We cannot turn a blind eye to it. But we must prevent people from falling into homelessness, and we must build housing that working people can actually afford. And that's what ULA does. It keeps families housed.
Speaker, you've exhausted your 1 minute for general, but you have your 1 minute for item 17. I'm going to ask that you please stick to the item. Go ahead.
It supports tenants at risk of eviction, and it creates permanent affordable housing so that people who serve the city can also live in it. Let's be honest about the pressure you're under today. ULA has been under relentless attacks from the billionaire class, the same interests that have filed lawsuit after lawsuit to avoid paying their fair share. Weakening ULA now would send a message that when powerful developers push hard enough, voter mandates can be carved out. And here's the truth. ULA is working.
So can we hold our time? Speaker, you've exhausted your 1 minute for general public comment where you could speak to ULA.
Okay.
Right now you're on item 17.
Okay, all right.
So go ahead.
So I vote and urge everyone to protect ULA, stand with voters, stand with working families, and let's build Los Angeles where the people who build it, this city can afford to live in it. Thank you.
Good morning, Nella McCosker with CCA, here to speak to the proposed TOT and parking increases. We urge you to take a balanced approach that looks at the city's fiscal needs, supports tourism, and preserves our economic competitiveness. LA runs on economic engines, and we're actively weakening them by moving forward with tax increases on the table today. Downtown is the clearest example. 30% of our TOT, parking, and business tax revenue have come from this section of the city. When you tax this engine further, you don't just slow downtown, you reduce your own ability to pay for services everywhere else across the city. Visitors can go to Glendale and Burbank, where TOT is nearly half of what is being proposed here. I know that there are proposals on the table to decrease the overall amount, as well as other solutions. That is in the right direction, because streets are cleaner, safer, and better in these other cities. Common sense dictates as well that we need to look at what is already collected before we consider any rate increases. And so thinking about the parking tax, there are operators who are already complying with the current tax increase, while others are not fully giving what they owe. So thank you for your balance in the discussion that's to come, considering all sides where not everyone gets what they want, but we're balancing the priorities of the city, the economic engines, and your own ability to balance the budget. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Miguel Montero, and I'm a part of SAGE Strategic Actions for a Just Economy, and I want to talk about ULA. So ULA has been in effect for almost 3 years, and over time, more than $1 billion have been collected by the city. These $1 billion have prevented more than 10,000 people from falling into homelessness, funded nearly 800 affordable homes, and accelerated 10,000 union jobs. If we put into effect these amendments that Nithya Raman has proposed, those in favor will create an uptick in homelessness. We will move backwards in building an equitable housing landscape, and you will feed profit-driven real estate investors at the cost of putting thousands of Angelenos in a vulnerable stance or on the street. Do not move forward with these ULA amendments and consider the local impacts this can have on the broader community that you all represent. Thank you.
This is a moment for common sense. We can either risk more layoffs, cut city services, or find ways to fund them. Allowing responsible short-term rentals brings in tourism dollars and tax revenue without raising taxes on residents. This is what smart governance looks like. Creative solutions to real problems. Let's pass a balanced, forward-thinking ordinance. Thanks a lot.
All right, well, good afternoon. My name is Jovan Wolf. I'm a trans veteran, organizer, artist, and community member. I'm representing Trans Latino Coalition as an angel of change, as well as the executive director of Invisible Men. I'm here to bring light and speak in support for the TGI Wellness and Equity Initiative. This initiative would help fund trans, two-spirit, non-binary, intersex, and gender-diverse-led and serving community-based organizations doing the hard work every single day to keep our community supported and uplifted. We are their lifeline, and we demand your support. Okay, these organizations provide critical services for our overlooked communities like housing, access to healthy food, healthcare, employment, among other vital resources. It's time for the city to LA to make good on its promises to be for everyone. Okay, because if you truly say you're for everyone that resides here in LA, but you and all of us know that we have been marginalized, pushed to the sidelines, and we continue to be an afterthought in your budgets and your agendas.
Speaker, your time has expired.
Buenos días a todos, especialmente a la señora Nithya Raman. Me gustaría que me estuviera escuchando, por favor.
Good morning to everyone, particularly Ms. Nithya Raman. I would really like for you to pay attention to my comment, please.
Estoy triste con ella por su manera de comportarse. A veces pensamos que está con el pueblo y a veces vemos que no.
I'm really saddened by your behavior because sometimes you act like you're for the people and then sometimes you don't.
Con todo respeto, me dirijo a ella porque no me gustó lo que acabo de oír.
And respectfully, I'm speaking to you because I was really disheartened by what I heard.
Todos trabajamos con ULA para tener vivienda económica para el pueblo.
We all worked for ULA so that we could have affordable homes for the people.
Como dijo una señora, el dinero es para el pueblo, del pueblo y para el pueblo.
Like another commenter had said, she said, the money is for the people and from the people.
Entonces yo quiero todo el dinero para la comunidad y vivienda económica.
So I want all of our money for the community and for affordable housing.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
My name is Alika Valdez. I am a member we have on SAGE. These amendments will weaken ULA's revenue stream. Los Angeles cannot solve its affordable housing crisis without building more affordable housing. ULA gives Los Angeles a huge, dedicated, permanent revenue stream to build in just 2.5 years. It has raised more than $1 billion just for housing. If we amend ULA, Los Angeles will have less money to build, and it will be harder to solve our housing crisis. These amendments are undemocratic. Measure ULA was passed by 58% of voters in 2022. Tampering with ULA undermines the role of the majority. These amendments are being rushed through without input from stakeholders. Any amendments or changes to ULA should come from a thoughtful, transparent process that includes renters, tenant advocates, community organizations. I'm going to speak item 17. So the vacation rental ordinance would raise for LA residents and increase homelessness. The ordinance would create roughly 3,100 new STR permits. LA residents currently pay $810 a year extra in rent because of the 9,000 STRs we currently have. Imagine 3,100 new ones. Similarly, 5,000 people are currently made homeless because of STRs. We would expect that number to grow dramatically if the VRO is passed. We ask that the City Council remove Section 5, initiating a report back on the vacation rentals ordinance from item number 17, and reject the vacation rental ordinance entirely. I just hope that history will not will repeat, because ULA will never be the same.
Greetings, council members. My name is Deshanae Cantley, a tenant, a community member, and an advocate for the work of ULA on the ballot, whom and which has made great impacts for Angelenos to get housed, stay housed, and construction jobs so far. There is still work to do, and we need time to complete the reality with ULA and the intention of care and with communities in mind. The people have already spoken, so let us continue to do the work with no further delays. Thank you.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak
Good
to?
morning, everyone. Thank you for coming in. And the item I'm going to speak on first is number 14, and then I have a comment for just general public.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for
All
item
right.
14 and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Very good. Thank you this morning for coming in and putting a smile on your faces. I think you all deserve a round of applause for that, as many people do not tell you. So now let's get into number 14. Something about with the police and building the financial budget, etc. I have nothing to say about that because I support our police 100%. Thank you for being out on the street. Thank you for doing what you do. The only thing that I'm going to say to you is this. There are people dying in the streets because police do not know how to basically handle transgender individuals. We need sensitivity training, and we need it now. If we don't get it, there's going to be more out on the street. Now, next, general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1
So
minute.
I am here because I want to tell you, please support the TGI funding. Okay, not only will it get people off the streets, but it helps our youth. Our youth are out there prostituting, they're doing drugs. They have no one that they can turn to. You take this money away and you will put them in their graves. You take this money away and you will put everyone else who does not have a home or has something that they need to overcome in their graves. I am not here to tell you anything with sugar. I am here to tell you that exactly it is what it is. Every day that you wake up, you remember that this could be one of your family members. Let's support everyone. We make the money and you guys get it. Let's put it to use. Thank you very much. And this is from a former Miss Universe trans and also someone that has been in this community and is a taxpayer. Thank you.
Mi nombre es Alejandra Beltrán. Soy miembro de Trust South LA y de el grupo de liderazgo de la vivienda social ACT LA. El día de hoy estamos aquí para pedirles que voten no a la consideración de la medida electoral respaldada por el Consejo para enmendar a la medida ULA.
Un momento. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Alejandra Beltran. I am from Trust South LA, and I am part of a leadership group called ACT LA. And I'm here to ask you to vote no to modifying Measure ULA.
La vivienda social permanente trae a mi comunidad una salud mental, económica y familiar. En consecuencia, tendremos una comunidad fortalecida con un modelo de vida justo y equitativo para todos. Es por eso que se ha escrito la Carta de Apoyo a la Medida ULA.
So as a person who has lived in permanent social housing, I can personally attest to the improved mental health along with many other benefits that have resulted from having a stable place to live.
La cual entregaremos
señora.
a usted, señor presidente, para su análisis y reflexión de los resultados positivos de la implementación de la medida ULA.
And so
Por
I ask
favor,
for the president to please look carefully and to be very thoughtful when talking about any sort of modifications and amendments that need to be done to Measure ULA. Thank you very much.
por favor, recuerden, la ciudad de Los Ángeles
Speaker, your time has expired.
necesita.
Next speaker.
Señora, se le acabó su tiempo, lo siento mucho.
Good morning. My name is Azim Khan Malik, and I'm the Executive Director of Abundant Housing LA. I'd like to take a moment to commend Councilmember Rahman for doing a difficult thing, pushing forward an important but controversial conversation. Abundant Housing LA was and still is proud to have endorsed Measure ULA. But we also recognize that there's clearly a need for narrow, targeted reform to reduce costs to multifamily housing development. Two things can be true at the same time. ULA raises critical funds for affordable housing and tenant programs, and its application to multifamily housing is suppressing the production of much-needed homes. I sincerely hope that with the additional time afforded by referral of this ULA motion to committee, all stakeholders can constructively work together to find a solution that facilitates housing production and potentially raises additional revenue to keep these critical funds whole. Thank you very much.
My name is Jessica, and I'm with Liberty Hill Foundation. I ask that you review the letters Liberty Hill, UHLA, and Right to Counsel Coalition have submitted to the council file, and we ask to continue the following conversation with Councilmember Rahman in good faith. Once again, flawed and premature data is being used to justify the gutting of Measure ULA. Do you not see all the tenants and community-based organizations here who fought hard for ULA to pass? This measure was designed to tax the rich and to fund community-driven solutions to prevent homelessness, and it's working. Federal cuts are happening, and instead of protecting the largest source of local revenue to prevent homelessness, you are actively working towards cutting the revenue. For whose benefit? Use that energy to focus on implementing ULA, not watering it down. Use that energy to partner with us to continue to center the needs of the most at-risk Angelinos. This ballot amendment effort is not about protecting ULA from repeal, but about giving in to real estate pressure through carve-outs, exemptions, and delays. So side with the people, not the billionaires. Thank you.
My name is Alejandra. I am a member of the Fast Food Workers Union. I work on Taco Bell in District 8. I work at Taco Bell and filed a closure complaint after I was being chased by a man that was doing sexual comments to my coworkers. Violence like this occurs constantly. Since we were never trained on how to protect ourselves, so in the matter, I grabbed a pizza cutter to defend myself. We should have had a working panic button or a prevention plan, but instead, when I spoke up about what happened, the management decided to move me and cut my hours. Well, we shouldn't have been silenced. I'm not gonna stay silenced. Fast food workers need to know their rights and training so we can enforce the law, and please take the immediate action to pass the fast food fair workers ordinance without any future delays. Thank you.
You know, calls for reform. Well, I'll wait.
Mr. City Attorney?
Sorry, Mr. President, I'm trying to see. I can't see who yelled out, but for people who are exiting the room, because public comment is now over, we would ask that you please do so quietly. If you don't and you continue to interrupt the council members as they are speaking, you'll be subject to Rule 7 and Rule 12 and warned and potentially subsequently removed. I'm sorry, council member. Go ahead.
Thank you. Councilmember Rodriguez.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. I would like to adjourn today's meeting in memory of Alex Pretti. And I'd like to start by reading the statement that Alex Pretti's parents wrote following his death. They say, "We are heartbroken, but also very angry. Alex was a kind-hearted soul who cared deeply for his family and friends, and also the American veterans whom he cared for as an ICU nurse at the Minneapolis VA hospital. Alex wanted to make a difference in this world. Unfortunately, he will not be with us to see his impact. I do not throw around the hero term lightly. However, his last thought and act was to protect a woman. The sickening lies told about our son by the administration are reprehensible and disgusting. Alex is clearly not holding a gun when attacked by Trump's murdering and cowardly ICE thugs. And he has his phone in his right hand, and his empty left hand is raised above his head while trying to protect the woman ICE just pushed down, all while being pepper sprayed. Please get the truth out about our son. He was a good man. Thank you. Alex Pretti was a healer. Alex Pretti was a healer. He died trying to protect someone, doing what he dedicated his life's work to. And any agency that kills nurses and mothers and uses 5-year-old children like Liam Ramos as bait cannot be redeemed and cannot be reformed. It must be abolished. I sit on budget and finance, and I've often said budgets are a reflection of our values. So what does it say about our values when $170 billion of our tax dollars are funding terror squads instead of healthcare or housing or education, while people die of hunger and homelessness and preventable illness? The only thing that has ever changed this country is organized people refusing to accept state violence as normal. That means all of us, electeds and organizations and constituents alike, we must use every tool: mutual aid, policy, protest, harm reduction, education, journalism, storytelling, art, collective care, to keep our communities alive and to stop this fascist regime. Alex Pretti should be alive. That is justice. His family should not be burying him. So we adjourn today for Alex Pretti and for every life taken by systems of harm and violence that must be dismantled and replaced with care. May Alex rest in the warm embrace of his ancestors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Hernandez. We have other adjourning motions? All right, seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you so much, everybody.